Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us this morning. Is it Siona? I don't want to mispronounce your name. Thank you for showing us your lovely face this morning.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I see a couple.
Oh, sorry.
Poppin'.
I'm trying to use my iPhone, but I'm sideways. Let me see.
There she is. Hello, Sheila.
Hello. How are you?
We are doing well. Excited to lift the lid on some Docusign tips and tricks today. I know that last time we met, we really went through essentially from contract to close. So what do I do? How do I create that opportunity? What is really that whole life cycle of getting my documents signed and bringing them back into command? I want to ask, does anyone have any questions from last session or any unanswered maybe queries that you all might be having before we dive into today's material? Because it won't be that story. We're going to have a topic-based class today. So I just wanted to check in with you all now.
No questions. Let me put myself on
It
mute.
feels good. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for answering. Oh, I see some more people joining. What about you, Siona? Or
I was not available last week, so I didn't take the class last week. I know I missed a lot. So
you'll definitely want to watch that recording. Today might be a little confusing, but once you watch the recording from last time, you should be able to put that together. And of course, you have amazing support at your market center.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, with that being said, in case, and you bring up a great point, in case you weren't here last week, who are we? What are we doing here? My name is Haley. I'm a senior tech trainer on the KWU enablement tech team, which really just means I love supporting and guiding agents and leaders on the field through Command, Docusign, and other integrative technology. I have a partner in crime today, and her name is Meg. Meg, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Haley. Good morning, everybody. Wonderful to see you again. Hope you had a fabulous Red Day. We're coming at you with some energy today to help you get through this Friday into the weekend. We're very excited to be here. I will be in chat, dropping some links and assisting Haley throughout. And again, as Haley mentioned, this is a topic-based session. So we're going to be covering certain topics and then keep it moving. So if you can't unmute, go ahead, toss any questions in chat box. I'll be monitoring that for today.
I'll pause for questions as well throughout, so don't feel like you always have to put them in chat or anything. With that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen and we can really dive into what we're going to be talking about today. So as we mentioned, this is a 2-session training, and this is going to be part 2 of that training. In case you haven't had the opportunity to meet the whole team, here we are, and we really use the knowledge gained from working with thousands of agents and leaders, and then use that training and those resources to help you all solve your business challenges and really leverage Command to run your business. Today's goal is to obtain an understanding on how to use and implement additional tools in Docusign. So time-saving tips, ease of use tricks, really allowing you, now that we all really have a foundation from session 1, to elevate what you already know about Docusign. So we are going to go into these 5 different topics today. The first thing we're going to talk about is static data form templates. I don't think that anyone in here loves dual entry. If you do, don't listen to this first tip. This first tip is really going to allow you to essentially paste over same information or static information that stays the same from transaction to transaction. So we'll talk about that first. We're then going to talk about emailing documents into the room. So as an agent on the go, maybe I have different emails floating around from different transactions. Wouldn't it be nice to keep all of the information regarding a transaction in one spot? Yes, and we're going to talk about different ways that we can just go ahead and send it into Docusign and straight into the Docusign room. So talk about time saving there. We're then going to talk about splitting and merging PDFs. So sometimes maybe you send it to the other side of the transaction for documents to be signed, and then you receive all of those signed documents in a packet. Well, we know that once you submit back to your Market Center, and when you're adding in those signed documents to those placeholders in Command, they need to be split up a certain way. So we're going to be talking about how you all can split or merge whatever you need to. We're then going to move into voiding and correcting an envelope. So essentially, when can you correct and when should you void an envelope? We'll talk about some of those nuances within there. And then last but not least, what to do when something falls through. So we don't want you creating, spoiler alert, we don't want you creating another opportunity. We don't want you creating another DocuSign room. Why? Because it's more time that you're taking away from your business, essentially. So we're going to just center around all of the time saving and ease of use today. Before we get going, does anyone have any questions? Everyone feeling good in the I always say computer lab, but the KW City Views meeting room? Y'all ready to go? I think I see some. And KW Valley,
Yes.
how are y'all doing in
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, thank y'all so much. With that being said, if you have split screen ability, if you have multiple monitors and you would like to follow along, it is encouraged. Go ahead and find that demo opportunity that we worked on last week. And we're going to play along with some of our new tips that hopefully you'll be able to use to then save you all time and energy down the road. So I'm going to pull up Command now. And I am going to be within my contact. So I've located the contact that I want to use for today. I've also located the opportunity. So if you did create that opportunity with us last week, you should have one right here. If you're thinking, hey, I didn't come last week, but I still want to participate, go ahead and click on Create Opportunity, quickly fill in those details, and then you will have a link that looks exactly like this. So now I have my opportunity, I've located it. I'm going to click into that hyperlink because I want to dive into transactions, aka opportunities, because we do want to connect to DocuSign. Did I lose anybody yet? Y'all are looking good. Okay, go ahead and click into documents here. And then we're going to go ahead and click go to transaction. So click on that opportunity link, click into documents, and then go to transaction. Uh-oh. Let me try. Is anyone else getting this error that's connected? Meg, do you see this? It appears your Market Center hasn't connected to DocuSign.
Yeah, I'm going to check my account too, because you had mentioned that was happening earlier. So I will check and I can also kind of report that. Chris, are you guys seeing that as well?
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking if anybody in here is having that. Anybody else getting that?
Wait, what was it? Yeah, yes,
He's
they are. No.
He's asking.
Yeah, we're checking.
Thank you. Thank you. I went to my settings and it said it was connected, but this is not, I hadn't seen this yet. And I've never seen that error actually before today.
Yeah, we didn't get it in here.
Okay.
Y'all didn't get that error?
No.
Okay. In that case, when you click go to transaction, you're going to be brought to the specific room of that transaction. So you should be brought into this, whatever room you clicked into for that demo account, it should bring you into rooms. We then want to go ahead and dive into documents. And because our first tip is revolving around static data form templates, what we want to do once you've navigated to that Documents tab is think about a form that you're always filling in the same information. Maybe it's agent license number, maybe it's office address, maybe it's broker's address. Does anyone want to just feel free to unmute and give us a couple of forms that you know that your office uses with static information?
You know, agent MLS ID number, your all your office information, you know, like 123 Tice Boulevard, all that. I wouldn't want to have to fill that in every time I write a contract. And so that would be great if it could be there.
Okay, absolutely, Andy. So she knows what form she's going to use. And maybe if you weren't thinking of a form, she just gave you a great answer there. So whatever that form is, my agent license number, my office address, maybe you use a lot of referrals and you're having to put that same information. Whatever that's going to be, what you're going to go ahead and do is come and click into Add. And then you'll click into Docusign Forms. I do have forms already in this room because I have them mapped with command. If you don't see any forms, there's nothing wrong with that. You're just going to click into Add, Docusign Forms, and then you will have your library, if not your groups. So go ahead and pick on whatever form that's going to be. I'm going to click on this release of earnest money, but it's in my room. Just wanted to show you all how to navigate to this area. So go ahead and pick that form, bring it into your room, and you know that it has static data that you use over and over again. Okay. Thumbs up if y'all have a form picked out and it's in your room. Sayona, were you able to find one?
This is Judy. I'm sorry. I just signed in. I was stuck in another meeting. So I'm just trying to catch up to you.
Okay.
I did have questions though, because I was trying to do a mock offer last night and I couldn't get the flag on the DocuSigns. I couldn't figure out how to do that. The document. So like when you send it to someone, they see the flag to sign.
So pre-tagged roles is very important for that. Absolutely. Have you used pre-tagged roles, Judy?
I don't know. There's a first time I was using it. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. I said pre-tagged roles.
Oh, good. So
the document, I uploaded the documents and
if you did use those pre-tagged roles, what it does is it automatically shows people where to sign and you don't have to
that's what I wanted.
map it. And the session last week did cover that. So you'll be able, if you want to watch that recording, let us know if you have any questions, of course, but you can see that in full detail from last session.
Okay, yeah, but I remembered it last week, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So where do I find these recordings? Just on the
Meg, it's going to be emailed from Meg to the Market Center representative.
Yeah, so Chris did let us know in chat that they have it on the Bergen County Partners YouTube and that Chris can email it to anybody who is specifically looking for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have it up. So if you need it, just shoot me a message and I'll send it over.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
I'll do that because I need it. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want you manually mapping fields, Judy. Absolutely not.
All right. Okay, great.
Okay, so hopefully by now you all have had time to pull in the form that you want to use for that consistent data over and over again. Once you have the form in that room, we're going to go ahead and navigate to My Docs. It's going to be the 4th tab at the top here. We're going to we're going to click into My Docs. And then we're going to click into Form Templates, because remember, we're making that static data form template here. Once you come in here, it should look like mine does, unless you've created one before. So you should come in here, you have this blank area to create a form template. It is important to keep in mind that you have to have access to the DocuSign form to make the template for it. So just keep that in mind if you're, maybe you have a TC that's making static data form templates for you or something like that. You do have to have access to the actual form to make the template. And unfortunately, static data form templates are not shareable. So they are unique to you under your specific account. So if it's a team that's wanting to use this, everyone is going to have to come and create that static data form template. The perk is whatever, because the documents and the details have that fluid relationship back and forth, once you paste that static data, it will go into whatever other fields in the document that have those same fields, as well as in the details. So it's not like it's just for that form, because remember, those little yellow fields feed through multiple documents and the details. So essentially, I copy paste it one time and all that pertinent information is on all the documents. Okay, so we're going to come up to the right here and click into Create Form Template. And now you're just going to find it again. So remember, we were in our room and we found it. Now we came over into the My Docs form templates and we found it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pull it from my library here. I'm going to rely on my release of earnest money and click Use. Once you do that, it looks pretty similar to what it looks like when you open up a document in a room. But this is going to allow you to, fingers crossed, put this information in for the last time for any transaction that you're going to have to use going forward. Notice there is a pencil at the top left if you do want to title this. So if it is useful to you, we do have the ability to make the same or using the same form, but create two different templates. Maybe I'm on the buyer side of the transaction on one, maybe I'm on the sellers, or maybe on the referral form, I'm a referee, and maybe I'm a referral on the other side. So you can make multiple templates for the same form, which is pretty useful, right? I'm going to go ahead and just click into the pencil. I'm going to title it Today's Date, because I do want to demo this saving. So you type it in and then you do need to click on that green check mark on the right-hand side here. Yes, Sheila.
Sorry, I might have gotten lost. So
Okay.
I went in my documents, form templates,
Yes.
and then create form template, right?
Perfect.
So for me, I see Docusign Form Library and Form Group. I thought I was getting the one that was in my room. No?
Yes. So if you click on library, you'll find it.
If I click on library.
And then you'll have the list of forms, the same forms that you have access to in your rooms.
Oh, I only have, when I click on select library below, it says select Docusign Library. I only have about 10 items, but I don't have that one form. I was looking for the CIS form. I was going to use that as an example and type my name in there, but
maybe try groups if your market center has set those up.
So when I click on group, it's a little bit more like, it's kind of like the name of the group. So for example, they have NJ residential listing, and then in parentheses, NJ MLS. So, oh, I see. So I got to go in. Okay. So when I click on that, then it gives me the one form within that folder, I guess.
Okay, good. I was like,
so I can do that. All right. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I thought it was
so much for stopping.
I thought I was pulling from my room that I found the form at that location. So that's okay. This is fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't lost.
I'm just glad you
Thank
found
you.
No, thank you so much. I was like, if you have access to it in the rooms, you should have access to it here. But okay, great. So yeah, go ahead and open that form. And then if y'all want to change the name, you can. If not, totally up to y'all. And then notice when I hover over, these are the fields we were talking about, right? If I put in this information, it's going to be more useful to you if it is static. So technically you can put in any information you want to. Maybe there's a form like some kind of offer and you're getting 15 offers on one house. Maybe then it is worth coming in here and making a static data form template so you don't have to put in the address every time. We're going to lean on this as the notice when I hover over mine, listing agent 1 company. So just find on your form, I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I don't want to put in my office address anymore. So I'm going to come in and type it in here. and then I'll be able to essentially copy paste it on my form. So find whatever that static information is for y'all. Maybe hover over it, make sure you're putting the city where the city needs to be, or maybe it's an agent license number, maybe make sure that it's not a social security number instead, or whatever that is. So you're just going to use that hover over and type in that information that you no longer want to have to every transaction.
So this is Judy again, and
Hi,
I created the buyer, and I chose in DocuSign the add transaction, and I chose the documents for New Jersey residential buyer. But I don't see this document, the earnest money. I'm a little behind you. I'm trying to catch up.
You're okay, Judy. Just pick whatever form you use to put in that.
Okay.
You want a heavy hitting form. What's that form that has the most static information?
Okay.
Mine is just a demo form I'm using,
Okay.
and I'm choosing the office address. Great question, though.
But where would that form be? I mean, wouldn't have come up, earnest money?
Not if your market center doesn't have it. This is just a demo Docusign account.
Okay.
So you're just going to pick a form that's going to be useful to you.
Okay.
What's a form that had, your agent license number, at least? Maybe you can take that off your plate. A form that you use, from transaction to transaction, because the whole idea behind this is just to say, paste from template. I'm not typing that in anymore.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I did. Yeah, I created something. I just pulled up a business arrangement disclosure. I don't know, but it did fill it in. It pre-filled in information that I put in.
Oh, you're ahead of the game. Okay. So once you put in this information, go ahead and hit save and close, y'all. You're going to have your saved template. And remember, you can come back to it. You can edit it. You can make multiple if you end up wanting to have two different sides of the transaction or whatever that looks like for your form. What we're going to go ahead and do is navigate back into Rooms, and we're going to paste this template into the correct form. One of the perks here is if you didn't create a static data form template for it, it's not going to let you paste it into that form. So for example, I made mine on release of earnest money. If I right click on 1 to 4 family, notice I have no way of applying that template. So it's not like you can, do something wrong here essentially. Notice though, if I right click over release of earnest money, I have apply form template. So that's what you want to do, is just navigate back to your room, find that form you made the template for, and apply that form template.
Can you show us how you did that one more time? So I have
Absolutely.
my template. Mine is the contact sheet.
Okay.
So do I
You
go
created your template.
right? Do I save and close
Save and
or
close, yeah.
save and
Yes.
close?
That blue save and close with the yes.
Okay, save
And then
close.
now you should see it horizontally at the top of the My Docs area.
Okay,
And now you want to click into Rooms. It's going to be that second tab on top.
got it.
And then find whatever room you were working with for our demo.
Yeah, I can't find that one. I don't remember. Oh, learn command. There it is. Okay.
Oh, there you go. that one sounds right.
All right. I couldn't find it in my contacts. Okay.
No
So,
worries. You
command,
have it in here. And then you just want to make sure to pull that form into the room. And actually, I had this form in here, Andy, but you might see that if you pull in the form and you already have a template, it'll allow you to pull the form and the template in at the same time.
Okay. So that's where I'm confused. How do I get it into that room? I
Click on add.
Okay. Oh, wait, I don't have the add button. I must be in the wrong spot. So if I click learn command, which is my fake opportunity.
You want to go to the documents tab. It probably brought you to the
Oh, yeah.
details
Okay.
tab.
All right. So go to the documents tab. There we go. Now I can add it.
Woo. Okay. So now she can add it. Now you'll see the apply. You can just add it normally if you want to, but there is a little area where you can essentially two kill two birds with one stone. You can bring in the template and the form at the same time.
Okay, so do I do add documents? How do I add it?
Add Docusign Forms.
Docusign Forms. And so it should be in there under, I put it under residential listing. So would it be under that?
It'll be under what that form is titled.
Oh, okay. Which it should be in residential listing anyway. Okay, so contact form, where the heck is it? I gotta raise this up. I'm sorry, I'm blocking you guys out. Let's see.
While Andy is looking for that, can I just, it's John Paul.
Hi, Jean Paul. Of course.
Right. I loaded a document to create a form for, and one of the fields is saying that it's a required field before it's allowing me to save, which is, I did an exclusive right to sell, right, form. And it's saying that the sale price number, or the list price number is a required field. I'm not asking you to go through it here, but if this was a situation where I wanted to use a form that had these required fields, would you be able to work with me offline to format the document so that that is not required? Because obviously I can't keep a sale price or a list price for every listing agreement the same.
Absolutely. I haven't seen anything where it's been required. Meg, have you seen that before?
Yeah, I was going to say we can definitely bring Chris into this too, since Chris is familiar with their specific forms, because maybe DocuSign mapped it incorrectly. We can.
Well, it's a New York form, which is why a lot of the New York forms have these bugs. But if it's something that you're capable of helping us.
It's the Market Center putting in a form request and sending it to DocuSign is really what it breaks down to.
Okay. Sorry to digress. Thank you.
No, you're good.
Sorry,
And thank you
JP,
for
this
that
is
feedback. I
John.
didn't know New York was having such issues over there with that.
Yeah, sorry, this is the MCA for JP. I can definitely sit with you, JP, and go over that. It does sound like it's a form issue.
You're the best. Thanks, Joanne.
Andy, where are we? I don't want to leave you in the cold.
I can't seem to get it in there. I don't know if,
Can you get that form in there?
I can't get that form. It says already in use. That's why.
It might already be in your room. And if that's the case,
Oh.
awesome. It's already in there.
Okay, let's see.
And
So,
then all we need to do is right click and then apply form template. So if it's already in use, that means it's already in your room, which is great.
all right. So, okay. So right click, you said, and apply form template.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we can apply form template. It's if you had multiple versions or whatever that looks like. Remember, we talked about how you can have multiple. I'm just going to fill that circle in because that's the one that I want. And I'm going to hit apply. Now, this is going to essentially apply that data over. It's important to note, and I'll go ahead and open it up too so we can take a peek, that if you had data in those fields prior to applying the form template is going to be the new source of truth. So it's going to push out anything else. However, the blanks that you've left in the form template won't affect any blanks in the form. So for example, I opened up my form template, I scrolled down and I just put in that demo broker. Well, when I applied the form template, notice I have the property address. It's because that's coming over from the details still.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes.
One more question. So I created this template for a listing. What if I want to use it for a buyer? Do I have to create a whole nother template or will the information automatically populate?
Is it on a different side?
Yes.
Then you need to create, that is a perfect use case for why you can create two form templates and you can just put one dash buyer, one dash seller. Absolutely, Andy.
Okay.
And that's a great point because if you actually paste it into the wrong side, so maybe if I was working on the buyer side now and I did paste it on the seller, there's no undo apply template. So you would have to go through and delete.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great nuance to bring up. Thank you, Andy.
Okay.
Okay, how do we feel about form templates? Is this going to save y'all time and energy? I know when you first create it, it's going to be a little bit back and forth, but now you're not constantly typing it in. I'd love to hear from y'all. How are we feeling?
So I
Sheila,
do
you want-
have a question along those lines, and my question is, some of this stuff, when we go into details, is automatically filled out, but not all of it. For example, it has my name, my phone number, but not my cell phone number. And it doesn't have my license number, but it has my office and my office address. Where was that originally from, and how can I fill in the missing information?
It should have come through your marketing profile in Command.
Mhm. I thought so, but I don't think there's a place.
But
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you could do multiple phone numbers though. I know that it has that email spot and that phone number spot. So maybe just put the most kind of important one in here, I would say. Meg, do you have any other suggestions for that? That's what I would maybe recommend.
Yeah,
Putting that information in.
yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. There's some things from the details of Command that just will not fully populate over, but there are fewer fields, right? Most of it does come over, but you're absolutely right. There are some that does not at this time.
Okay.
And we're absolutely in talks with DocuSign about the fields that you guys have that common, especially we hear the license number. So we have reported that over to DocuSign as being something that would be great to carry over.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And DocuSign is an amazing vendor. They're hearing us loud and clear with a lot of these like tightening pieces. So more to come definitely with DocuSign. Okay, are we ready to move into our next tip, which is emailing into the room and emailing into the inbox? So use case, why are we learning this? Maybe I don't want to have everything emailed to my email and then I have to download it to my computer and upload it to my DocuSign room. Or maybe I'm working with a team and I'm just saying, hey, go ahead and add that document to that room so I can take a peek at it. This is really going to help streamline the transactional process if you do have or working with documents outside of the forms that you bring into your DocuSign room. So notice, and I know that we went to My Docs last time, but you have a third tab here called Inbox. So I'm going to go ahead and click into Inbox. And it is important that it's not a to and fro really email. It is collecting information only. You can't send information from this area. It's also important to note that it hunts for attachments primarily. So PDFs, JPEGs, that kind of thing. PNGs I have not gotten to work. So you do want to just rely on those. And mostly think about it, even when the documents come back assigned, they are PDFs as well. So before we practice emailing, I don't know that everyone in here, maybe none of you all in here have ever seen your email address. At the top left-hand corner, mine is haley.winfrey@mail.docusign.net. If you're seeing something here that's not as, user-friendly, that's what we want to dive into now. Okay. So I'm going to come up to the top right-hand corner. You should see your pictures or your initials here. And go ahead and click on it, and you're going to click into Preferences. We're going to Preferences to customize our emails. So I'm going to click into Preferences here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click into Inbox Details. And you should see your inbound email. Maybe yours had some numbers attached to it that you just want to chop there. Just making it a little more user-friendly. And notice they all end in @mail.docusign.net. So I'm just going to give you all about 30 seconds. Remember, we clicked into our initials, we clicked into Preferences, and then we clicked into Inbox Details to edit that inbox or email address. And then just give me a thumbs up when you're done with that. No rush though.
So it's click on the initials and then preferences.
You'll click on the initials and then preferences, absolutely. Okay. And then inbox details, Judy. And then you should be brought to that screen here. Okay. Just going to give you all about 10 more seconds here. And I know some of y'all might have seen I was pulling at my email because now we're going to utilize, and you're more than welcome to use mine. And I can go ahead and drop it in chat here. Or you can use the one that you just created for yourself.
Haley, I'm seeing my name at .82451.
Exactly. And how friendly is that, Susan? Not at all. So just
No.
delete those numbers.
Delete
and,
that.
and you can customize it.
So should I use the Docusign or my .kw?
It won't let you change this part. So it is going to be a Docusign account.
Okay.
It's just that front part that you're able to make more user friendly, essentially. And we don't want it to change to a Gmail or, you know, any other account, because the whole point is to keep all of my transactional information in one spot.
Okay. So I just write down my name and whatever numbers I want after it, and then it'll do the Docusign itself.
Yes, absolutely. You just have to come in here, and even if you don't want any, I just did Haley.Winfrey. If you want to put the best Susan at mail.docusign.net, you totally could.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
surprised there's no other names, like they're not, you know, a lot of times I get unavailable or already used. This one worked, so I don't know why.
Great. And probably because it's not Google or Yahoo, or I would argue that way less people are utilizing at mail.docusign.net. There's a little more freedom here for y'all. That's a great point. Okay, we've changed our emails. We're ready to start emailing into our inbox, right? So I went ahead and just pulled up my email here. I'm gonna email myself. Again, you're more than welcome to use mine or the one that you just created to practice. I'm going to just name the subject, which if you don't name the subject, it just comes in as no subject, no problem at all, as practice. And then remember, it hunts for attachments. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to attach a file that is, I wanted to find something that was more related to, there we go, exclusive listing PDF. So go ahead and find a PDF.
Haley, can I trouble you? For some reason, I didn't see how you got into this page.
Oh, I just brought over my email. So you're just bringing over your email here. Oh, I lost command.
Oh, wait.
Bring over your email.
You just open up just compose a new email.
Oh, so from our regular email.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it is the same colors as DocuSign. This is my Outlook email. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So I'm looking for an email. Just create an email.
Yeah, we're just composing an email so we can practice. That's all, Andy.
To that particular address.
Or your own. But yeah, if you want to use mine and you want to see it on the show, you can definitely do that too.
Okay. And when I say to my own particular address, the one that we just created in DocuSign.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
So I've just composed my new email. I've added my PDF and I've put in that to field where I want it to go. My newly created email or Haley's email. And then I'm going to go ahead and click send. It does take about 30 seconds, just a couple seconds for you to say, did it work? Before you can get to the K, it'll appear. So all we did was compose a new email, send off that PDF. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my inbox tab. And notice I have a new PDF that was just emailed in. Now, it really is that easy. And from here, you can move it to any room that you want to by just clicking the top corner. And then you'll see a little symbol that says move. So you can say, okay, I emailed this in or someone else emailed this in. I need to get this to the correct transaction that it belongs to. So once I see it in my inbox, I'm going to click on the top left-hand corner. I'm going to rely on my toolbar here to move it the destination is going to be most likely an active room. Notice you could just bring it to a My Docs area if you wanted to, closed rooms, under review rooms. I'm going to go ahead and click on active rooms. And the most recent room that you clicked on will automatically appear here. So y'all should see the one that you're working with. Remember, I clicked top left-hand corner of that doc, move from the toolbar, active rooms to get to where I am now. I'm going to choose that and then move the PDF. And now it's no longer in my inbox. Okay. Do we have some people that were successfully able to finish that? Feeling
Yes, I
good?
did it. I
Yes.
did it.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. Just making sure I'm not leaving y'all in the cold.
Yeah.
Because, oh, sorry,
Alan,
Miss.
no, I saw Alan go like this. Alan, does that mean you got
Oh.
it or you didn't get it? Oh, didn't
Yeah,
get it.
what's going on, Alan?
Let's ask
I'm
you
so
to
sorry, you're
unmute.
on mute.
There
Yes,
we
hi
go.
there.
Hi.
I sent an email through Google through my MacBook Pro, and it did not populate in the Docusign Rooms Add Documents. It went to my Gmail area, and I put in the mail.docusign.net, and it showed up in the regular email. So that's why I was saying it didn't work. It should have populated into the screen you have on the on your board right now, correct?
Absolutely. And make sure you're putting in the correct address, because really there's no way for.
Alan, I'm going to let you know when I typed my initial email, I thought I was typing the DocuSign, but Gmail switched it to what
it auto-populated.
recognized. It auto-populated. So that may have happened. When I did it my second time, I double checked where I was sending it and it worked.
Okay, I'll try again.
Great tip.
I'll try again. I'll let you
Yes,
know.
please, Alan, keep us in the loop, because we're going to say on email, I'm just going to show y'all something that's going to make this even easier.
Can
You
you,
might be, yeah, Andy.
oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball here. Can you show me one more time how we get the document from the inbox to the room?
Yes, for me.
Sure. Yeah. So you're just going to click. Notice it's the only thing you can really click on within these documents. So you're just essentially telling DocuSign, I want this one.
Okay.
And then once you do that, and it kind of does that in the room side too, like when you're creating an envelope and you select a couple and then you create that envelope. So you have this toolbar and you just want to click on the first option, which is move.
Okay.
So we can move it out of our inbox and then into wherever we want it to go. And then for destination, you'll click on to active rooms. And then Andy, you should see learn command as that top option. Okay.
Got it.
Susan,
Perfect.
did that make sense?
Yep, that's great. Perfect. Now, will I be able to, and I think this is maybe where you're leading to with this. Can these would be templates that we have other than the templates that are already in there that will make spaces so we can fill it in command?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, I'm all right. So that's another question then. Okay,
Yeah, no worries.
we'll get to that.
Y'all are coming up with great ideas, which is good as well. And then, so really quickly, we've moved it. All right. So I'm going to go back to my room. I'm going to click back into Cali. I'm going to click back into documents. And you should see that document that you moved. Now, wouldn't it be nice? And maybe I started using this feature and I'm noticing that it's kind of getting painstaking. Maybe it's not just one document I'm sending over every time. Maybe it's 8 and I don't want to have to move it from my inbox to my room every single time. Is there a way to get it right into the room? Why, yes, there is. So that's the second level here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my email one more time. I'm just going to click on new mail. I'm still going to put in my email address. So whatever you created, and then that @mail.docusign.net, unless you're choosing to use mine. I'm still going to go ahead and bring in a PDF. So I'll go ahead and browse. I'm going to find a financing pre-approval PDF. And notice, I'm just going to drag this away real quick. It'll come back. But notice that when you're actually in the room, if you hover over that ID, it says copy and paste this room ID into your email subject in order to send documents into this room. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to bypass that inbox so that those documents can come right into my room. So all I'm doing is highlighting the ID, including that £. I'm going to right click, copy.
This is gangster.
Yay! I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. That's really great feedback that I've heard ever, honestly. Probably the best I've ever heard. Meg, would you agree? And then I'm going to paste it into my subject line. This is going to allow us to bypass that inbox. If I want to include a subject in here, I can. You know, if I just say financing approval, maybe I put the person's last name, maybe I put the street address, whatever you want to do there. So I've added my PDF. I put in my inbox, or excuse me, my room number to my subject line. And then I'm going to go ahead and send this off now. Alan, did you successfully get your documents emailed?
No, I'll chat another day with Chris in the office.
Alan,
see.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I had the same problem.
Wait, y'all's emails are going to a Gmail instead of the Docusign account?
I still haven't been able to get my email into the Docusign. I haven't been able to send an email. I don't know why, but I'll try again. Go ahead. I'll try again.
Okay. Did anyone successfully email a document into the room without having to move it into the room? I'm going to go ahead and refresh now and it should be there. Boom, my financing pre-approval. KW Valley, how are y'all doing over there? Were you able to successfully email?
So my emails are staying in my outbox. They're not going.
Do what? Your email is the same as the what?
So when I go to send the email to the Docusign email, it stays in my outbox. It doesn't get.
Are you attaching a PDF?
Yeah.
Will you try sending it to my email?
Yeah.
I'm going to copy paste it in chat. If you attach a PDF to that email, it should show up for y'all. I'm not sure what that disconnect is, but if you were successfully able to change that email, and then you're actually putting in this address, adding a PDF to it, I'm crossing my fingers, y'all see some success here. Okay. Did anyone successfully get the PDF into the room?
Yes.
Yes.
I got kicked out.
Sophie, thank you. Kicked out?
I got kicked out of command completely. I don't know how that happened. Oh, well.
Of command?
Yeah, the Docusign, the whole thing is gone.
Mhm.
I have to sign back in.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
I'm just not seeing that same behavior. So that's why I'm kind of questioning what's happening there, because I want to make sure we are able to really see how these tips are supposed to work for y'all. I want y'all this to be fruitful for you all. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that some of you all are having success with these tools. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all the last layer here. All I've done is grabbed my Outlook, composed a new email. I'm going to type in that email address that I have for docusign.net. And this time we are going to convert an email thread into a PDF. Why are we converting it into a PDF? Because that's what Docusign likes. It only wants chocolate, not vegetables. We have to turn it into Docusign's language, essentially. So why are we converting an email thread into a PDF? Well, maybe there's an email thread and that back and forth, maybe a deal's going sour and you want to keep all that information with the transaction instead of having it in your email. So really just going back to that organization with the transactions, but we have to make it to where DocuSign will take in that email. So what we're going to go ahead and do, and I don't want to have to move it from the inbox. So what I'm going to do is, again, copy paste that ID number, including that £, into my subject line. But I'm also going to include £PDF. This is going to allow me to convert that email thread into a PDF. You might be thinking, or maybe you're not, and I'll put a thought into your head, but this maybe isn't something that you're composing from the get-go. We talked about this possibly being an email thread where a deal is going south. So instead of composing a new email, you'll hit forward and change the subject line here, right? As long as you have that £PDF as well as that room ID, it will successfully convert that email thread into the PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send and wait for it to show up within my documents tab.
Okay, so just to be clear, if I'm understanding what you're saying here, is that if you put the PDF after the ID number, it will automatically convert it into a PDF? That's amazing.
Absolutely. Yes. Andy sees it as a win. I'll take it. And I will say that's just how I do it. It doesn't even matter the order. I could have room ID, subject, whatever it be, and then the PDF, or I could do the £PDF and then opposite. So it really just depends. And I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds to come in here because I do want to open that up and show you all what it looks like. We'll wait one more second. Those of you who did not have success, maybe try one more time. Maybe try to send me something or your new email address something. Boom, now I have it in here. It says message from Haley Winfrey because I didn't put a subject line. And when I open it up, I have that converted email. Pretty cool in terms of organization, keeping everything tight, efficiency. Where was that email? Just go back to that transaction and you can find it.
It didn't work. Man.
Do what?
No, I was just saying it didn't work. I tried it twice. I'm doing something wrong. I'll keep trying.
I'm trying also.
Okay, keep trying, y'all, because it is worth it when you have that organization. And I don't know, I wish I could just be behind you and say, oh, that, not that. I'm sure it's just one button off or just something's going haywire there a little bit. If you do want to, make sure that that email address successfully changed. Make sure you are putting in that ID number with the £, in the subject line. And then make sure that it's a PDF if you're not going to put that £, PDF. Otherwise, it won't come into your inbox or your room.
Is
Okay.
it ID number PDF?
Yes. And it's a capital PDF. And I can put that in chat as well. Absolutely great question. £PDF. It's going to be in the subject line with that room ID if you don't want to bring it from the inbox. And my fingers are crossed. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move on to our next tip. If you're ready, questions, comments, concerns. I know some of y'all are still trying. Sheila, were you able to successfully email?
Yes, I got it through. It's sending from my Gmail. So I did a new message, but it's like literally only the body. So I don't see any signatures. So I was going to try to do a forward, but I can't change my subject. I guess I have to do that on my phone.
No, and that you bring up a great point. Gmail specifically, for some reason, likes to hide it. So you're going to click forward, and then Sheila, there's a little down arrow next to subject, and it'll let you change the subject there. It should be right next to subject, and there's like this little down arrow, and then it'll allow you to do it. You found it? Yes. Yeah, that is a nuance with Gmail specifically, y'all. And I love Gmail. It's very easy, but sometimes I'm like, why can't we just change this email subject, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully that tip was helpful. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, so we'll go ahead and navigate over into splitting and combining PDFs. This is really going to allow you to not only organize, but remember when you come back into Command and you have your documents, you need your seller's disclosure separate from your listing agreement, separate from that listing exemption form or whatever forms that are required on y'all's end under those sub-level folders. So what we want to make sure and do is organize everything in Docusign. That way, once we're back into Command, it really is just this plug and play that we can do. I know last time at the end of the call, we talked about creating a signed folder within your Docusign room. And that way, when you pull from Docusign, it's going to allow you to pull from specific folders as well. So we really are going to kind of lift the lid on that a little bit further. And first is going to be splitting PDFs. And I'm saying PDFs and not forms because notice if I right click on a form and I try to split it, once you make these splits, it's going to turn into a PDF anyway. So you can't split a form. It's going to turn into a PDF. So instead, what I'm going to go ahead and do, well, I think these are only one page actually. So we are going to, oh no, it's not. Okay, perfect. So instead I'm going to right click on exclusive listing. It's already a PDF and I'm going to click on split. So if y'all are following along, just find maybe one of those PDFs that you just emailed in and click split. Because this is demo, if you didn't email a PDF into your room, go ahead and practice on a form because it's the same functionality. Just keep in mind, you can't really split forms truly because it'll turn into a PDF anyway, but you can still kind of follow along with the steps here. So I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to click split. And there's a couple different ways that you can split. It's really easy. So let's say that this is split number 1. And in real life, maybe your split number 1 would be called one of the placeholders that you have, right? Maybe it'll be seller's disclosure, listing agreement, whatever that is. So this split number 1, a couple different ways you can choose the pages. So what if the first 3 pages need to be seller's disclosure? I can click, click, click. Even if I can unclick to unselect, even if I click 1 and then 6 and then 3, it automatically puts it in chronological order for you. So you can click, and that's one way that you can make a split. Another way that you can make a split is what if you don't want it in chronological order? What if you need page 4 before page 2? In that case, you just type in 4, 2, 1. And it'll stay that way. So you can reorder as you split as well. Also, I can use the same page. Notice I used page 1 in both of my examples here. So I can use the same pages. I can reorder the pages by typing them in, or I can select the pages I want to, and they'll be in numerical order. Questions here on splitting? Susan, I saw you on mute.
Yeah, I unmuted because I think this is great. I just have to practice with it.
Just have to practice with it. Absolutely, Susan.
Yeah.
And this will become second nature to you.
Right. Because so far, everything we know is great.
Great. We want to save y'all time. We don't want you to have to download anything and split it on a computer and bring it. No, let's do it all in Docusign and Command. Let's make it as easy and time efficient as we can on ourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and hit split. The other perk of these is you're going to have the original as well. So you can't break the doc. Oh no, I split it wrong and now I have to combine it. No. It will keep the original as well as the splits that you created. So that's going to be my original. These are going to be the splits that I created, right? Questions on splitting?
I saved it and it says the document preview is being built. Check back in a couple of minutes. That's weird.
The document preview is being built. What did you split?
I split an old lease I had. And
Was it already in a PDF?
yes,
Or it was? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just working on, maybe refresh it. Give it
Because
a
it's
little
all
refresh.
grayed out. Okay, let me refresh.
What
Were
if
you
I-
able-
Oh,
I'm sorry,
It
Andy?
says one moment, please. We are loading. Oh, here we go. Okay. That was
What
weird.
if I
Okay.
wanted to split a document, like, let's say it's 10 pages, 5 and 5? That's just one and, not 1, 2, is it? How do I do that?
Oh, no, you would just do, like when you select how to print certain pages, it would just be you would do like 1-5. Or if you
Oh.
didn't want to type it in, you would just select the pages, whatever pages are blue will be in that split. So you'll just click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it'll do it.
Oh, so I
You only
literally
have to type in when you want to reorder.
Okay, so I literally just, if it's every page is split individually, that's just automatic. Because
Well, if you want each one to be a split.
no, I'm saying,
okay,
so
okay.
like in dot loop, we used to be able to like split it, like the first 5 pages, and that was one document, then the next 5 pages was another document.
Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. You just come up here and say, doc 1 is
Oh, okay,
this, and
Got
then,
okay,
doc 2, whatever you want to do there. And then
okay,
so
all
on
right.
and so forth.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, the only reason why I typed is because some people say, how do we reorder? It's not, that it doesn't do automatically, but it does let you kind of finagle your way in there.
Excellent.
I'm going to go ahead and X that out. And then the next part here is the opposite. So maybe it is the end of a transaction, or maybe I'm just looking at all of these and it looks like a total mess. And I want to combine some of my documents so that they are all together. Or maybe a transaction did fall through and I want to come in and just say, all right, everything with that other transaction, I'm going to put in its own folder and I'm putting its own packet. So in that case, you can, and again, I'm using PDF specifically because if you try to combine forms, look what happens. It's not going to work for you. You can't combine forms. It is PDFs only. So I'm going to come in everything that we split. I'm going to combine it. And then I'm going to include my message. Maybe it was from an email that I got with that person's financing approval and exclusive listing. Whatever that is, I want all of this to be one packet. So same thing we did when we moved from the inbox into the room. I just selected the documents at the top left that I wanted. And then I'm going to lean on my toolbar at the top and I'm going to click combine. It looks like 3 pieces of paper together. When I click combine, I know it doesn't look like it, but this is, you can use to reorder as well. So it doesn't look like it at all. You wouldn't know unless you just clicked on it, which I'm pretty sure that's what our team did. And you can reorder this. And then you can name it whatever you want to. Combined doc, combined documents. I have my financing and pre-approval up top, which is where I want it. And I'm going to click save. Same thing with those, splits versus combined documents. Notice I have my splits in here still. So just with like the splitting, you can't break anything. You're going to have the original and then you're going to have whatever you've newly created here. Okay, questions on combining? And Elizabeta, Elisa, Lynn, Michelle, how are we feeling? Tommy, Andrew, Bob,
Yes,
Stephanie.
Good. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Just making
Good.
sure. Okay, cool. So this next piece here is going to be correcting and voiding an envelope. I don't know if y'all have ever ran into a situation where you do need to correct or void. If you haven't, that means you are an all-star and nothing ever needs correcting. I don't know about y'all, but I make mistakes and I need to correct some things sometimes. So that's what we're going to talk about next, is when When can I correct and when can I void? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just build an envelope with a couple of forms. I'm going to just build an envelope, and maybe you want to use some short forms so it's just easier when we're doing that pre-tagged piece. Because all I'm going to do is quickly create an envelope. I'm going to send it out, and then we're going to go over the nuances with correcting and voiding. So just pick a couple of forms, click on that little slanted pin to create that envelope. This is when we're going to, and I know that Meg talked about this last time, and we're not going to go into those nuances again, but yes, rename the envelope. Yes, have that email subject. Yes, add recipients using pre-tagged roles only. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do is add recipient, pre-tagged roles. And I'm going to pick on a couple of people from my room. I'm just going to do Callie as seller 1, and I'm going to use myself as seller 2. I don't know if y'all seen this, but if you add yourself to an envelope and you need to sign something, you can sign it all within Docusign. It'll have you sign now on that envelope. And I'll go ahead and demo that because I am going to sign it. I'm going to go ahead and add those pre-tagged roles. I am going to change our order. And now I'm just going to dive into the envelope. So all I've done is just the bare minimum here because I just want to get to that correcting and voiding part with y'all. This is where, because we use those pre-tagged roles, I don't need to manually map the sign and date fields. If you dive into an envelope like this and you don't have any of these standard fields, it means you did not use pre-tagged roles. We definitely want to use those to save y'all time. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and send my envelope. I like to joke that you can't chase down the mailman. Well, you can in Docusign, right? So if I click send and I immediately think, oh, shoot, I forgot to add one of the important disclosures or addendums. As long as there's a blue bar, and we're going to talk about can versus should a lot, as long as there's a blue bar, you can correct the envelope. So best case scenario, y'all, scenario number 1, you just sent it off and you realized a mistake happened. I'm going to quickly dive in here. I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief because no one has signed it. And I'm going to click correct. Once you click correct, you're in this safe zone. Once you see this yellow line, when I say safe zone, I mean if Callie or Haley go to open it right now, they will not be able to sign the envelope. They're going to get a little error that says this envelope is currently in progress, something along those lines. So there's no sneaky signing while you're correcting, which is great. Notice from here, it looks exactly like it did when we were creating the envelope. I can do anything I want to. I can reorder these documents still. I can add more documents still. I can add more recipients if I want to, and I can even edit the signing fields. So everything that we had access to, as long as no one signed it, feel free to change, add anything that you need to.
Haley, what did you jump into to get to that correct, to get to that area where you can correct it?
Absolutely. So did you hit send from within the envelope?
Yes, and I got it back, but no, I didn't get to that point, because what I'm asking is, how did you get to that point?
Yes, exactly. So we created an envelope and then we sent it.
Yes.
And then it'll say if no one has signed it, which hopefully no one's sneakily done that, you'll see waiting for others in a little blue bar. And you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and click into it.
Okay.
And then now you'll see whoever you added it as a recipient, and there's a second, it's at the kind of top there, it says correct.
Okay, top. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then you should see that yellow bar. And when we go into avoiding, I'll show you this too. There's actually another way that you can get to the correct, but now you know that way that I showed. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I've come in here. Maybe I'm thinking, oh, And I'm just going to go ahead and change your email to mine so that I can actually come in here and sign it. But you can, I'm going to go ahead and correct that email. Remember, I can do anything that I want to if no one has signed it. And that's the important part here. I'll go ahead and resend it. If it is the case where you change someone's email, her old email, it's going to turn into a dead link. So it's not like you have two now possible options where someone can open up this document and sign it. Once you come in here and change it to that new email, that other link and that other email address completely dies. So I'm going to go ahead and click send. And now I'm thinking, phew, I've done everything I needed to do. I've corrected my envelope. No one signed it. Remember, we talked about that being a perfect scenario. Well, what if it's the case that someone has come in and signed the document? So we're going to go ahead and go into that next. But in order for us to do that, I need to go in and sign one of the documents as one of the signers. Because, and this is what I was talking about a second ago, if it's the same email address associated with Docusign, it'll let you sign it right in here. So you don't need to check your own email as the agent. I'm going to go ahead and click sign. Because I use those pre-tagged roles, it's going to shoot me to where I need to sign. So I'll click on start, I'll sign, use saved. But if you maybe power of attorney or something like that, that's when they can come in and change that. I'll go ahead and finish this. So I briefly put on a signer hat, but I'm going to put my agent hat back on. And different case scenario. So we've sent out the envelope. And a couple hours later, we forget that we didn't add a form. If I come back to my envelopes area and I click in, notice it's still blue, so I can correct. I click into it or I right click. This is the other way to do that, Susan, by the way.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I can go ahead and click correct. But this time when I come in, oh no, this is grayed out. That means someone has signed it. Notice as well, I have these little locks. Documents are not editable if at least one recipient has completed an action. I want to let y'all know right now that it is editable still. Should you edit it though? If Haley's already signed and she needs to see more information that you're adding, absolutely not. So really the should versus can comes in if you needed to add another recipient. Sure, go ahead and add it. If you needed to change any one email addresses that was after seller one, sure, go ahead and add it. If you need to edit any signing fields though, that should be a big red flag because whatever you edit, Haley didn't see. She saw the previous version. If you need to add documents or if you need to edit signing fields, my recommendation is to scrap that envelope and rebuild it. And it's not that hard to rebuild if you are using those other tools like static data form templates, like pre-tagged roles that'll make that envelope making process more efficient. Does that make sense, y'all? How are we feeling about correcting versus voiding?
Good.
Good? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Susan. Really, the rule of thumb is if someone signed it, you probably need to void it. But if it's just changing someone's email address or adding other recipients, it's not going to hurt it. It's really the signing fields and the documents, right? So in that case, I might say, oh, I'm going to have to void this envelope. So let's go over how to void an envelope. I'm going to right click and I'm going to void this envelope. I could come in here as well, and I'm going to have a more option to void the envelope here. So whatever you're going to be most comfortable with. And we can tell someone signed because that little green check mark. So I'll click more, void. By voiding this envelope, recipients can no longer view it or sign enclosed documents. Recipients will receive an email. So every single person, whether they've signed that envelope or they're a recipient on the envelope, will get an email that this envelope is voided, and whatever you type here verbatim is going to show up in the email. So whatever you put for reason for voiding, we want to make sure it's public facing and professional. Apologies, I, neglected to add the addendum that you didn't add. Another envelope will be sent your way shortly. Sheila.
So I only did one email. So, and I signed it. So once it's completed with the green check mark, I can't void it, right?
Yes, yes, great nuance, absolutely. Once it's been signed and it's only one person, it is going to turn into a completed envelope. And at that point, if you just needed to send them other documents, you could send it in a separate envelope. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and write my reason. I'm going to void it out. And now you're going to get this little voided symbol here, as well as you can tell that it's voided because now it's gone from blue to red. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns on voiding envelopes or correcting? Okay. Last but not least, you all are troopers on this Friday morning. What happens when something falls through? So if a deal falls through, y'all, it's going to take way longer to create another opportunity, to create another room. What we want you all to get into the habit of, because it's going to save you time, is go back to command first and say this is that we've been working with Callie. And let's say that we do have some documents in here, and I would demo that, but something's going on with my account right now.
Yeah, Haley, go ahead and refresh. We had an alert that it should be back up, and I checked in my account and we're good. So I think refresh will hopefully fix that error.
Yay! Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. In that case, now I can actually look at, okay, so this is actually a better example. So let's say we do have some things that we've signed in here, right? And we do want to keep track of all that information for compliance purposes. We want to be as compliant as possible always, right? So I don't want to click on here and remove it to put in the new ones because I want to keep this data. If this data is ever in question, I want to keep it. So what we want to do instead, and this is not intuitive, so this is important to note here, wherever it says listed, so remember I'm under that listed here, you can click add version and it's going to give you a whole new version of those placeholders. So maybe this is the previous deal. I've uploaded some documents that I've signed. This deal has now gone through. So I'm going to go to my listed folder and I'm going to add a new version of that list. So now let's say, Sheila, I'm going to pick on you because you're on top here. We're going to say that Suarez is the new buyer. So I'm going to create a new folder, create new version. And now notice I have a fresh, clean placeholder list here. I can always navigate back to my other one if I wanted to. So that's how you're going to essentially refresh that list. If anything else changes, maybe details end up changing. Maybe details end up changing. There's a little sync button, this one. So if anything does change, you can always come here, sync transaction and update it. Remember, there is that sync from command to Docusign. So just wanted to show you all that piece and then show you that versioning out piece to keep yourself organized. And then from here, I can say Suarez is the new buyer. I'm going to get from, whatever these documents are here to go ahead and upload those for my new deal. Does that make sense? It's the same room. Sheila.
Sorry.
No
So
worries.
for example, the first one was listed, right? So let's say ABC buyer, that deal fell through. Can I rename listed to, ABC buyer?
Right now, the placeholder is the original placeholder is gonna stay there. You cannot change it. Just the new versions are editable. Great question.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I'd love to do a call out here too, right? A lot of times where we see things changing is the under contract checklist. Haley's just in the listed, right? Normally listing docs are listing docs. Not too much is changing there, right? Your people are signing their forms appropriately. You're good to go. Where we see the most benefit for the new version is often under contract, because that's where things fall through. Okay. Also, I want to highlight really quickly, the reason Haley had the option to remove a document to that checklist item is because she hadn't submitted it to the Market Center yet. So if you go up to the top, see how submit to MC was grayed out because there's nothing to submit. She loaded a document. Now we can see submit to MC. So if she did hit submit to MC, instead of remove, you would see update. Okay, so once you're actually submitting something for compliance to your Market Center, you can never remove it. You can only update it. And another really interesting nuance, when you're creating that additional checklist item, oh, excuse me, you must attach a form to it in order for it to become the standard new checklist. So even though Haley created a new checklist and named it and we see it there, let's say Haley exited that opportunity without uploading a document to it. If she goes back into that opportunity later, the other original checklist would be the first one because she had documents attached there. And I know, again, you wouldn't know this unless you're doing it. So I want to just be mindful, even though you created a new version and gave it a title, if you did not upload a checklist item to it, it wouldn't be the one that's there when you come back to that opportunity.
You have to give it some weight to make it sticky, right?
You have to act like there's a reason you created it, which was to put a new document there.
Exactly. No, thank you, Meg, for those nuances. Great. Sheila, do you have a question? Oh, sorry. I saw your hand up. Maybe that was from last time. Okay. So that's what you're going to do in Command. What we would recommend doing in Docusign is you can go back to your documents. You're thinking, oh man, all these documents I just got signed, they're clogging up my room, right? So I need to come up here. I'm going to click into Actions, Add Folder. You could do this on a folder level, even if you wanted to do listed under contract and signed, whatever that is. Now that that deal has fallen through though, maybe I just want to put it under a deal fell through folder, create that folder, and then drag and drop those documents. And this is just going to allow me to stay organized. Once I have all of the documents, I can collapse this folder and I don't have to look at those previous documents any longer. This is going to keep you organized, allow you to stay and keep the same room and the same opportunity. Okay. How do we feel about that folder organization within Docusign, as well as that versioning out for when a deal falls through in Command? Easier than creating a new opportunity in a new room, right?
Organized.
Exactly, Susan.
You know, I think it would be helpful in the same way we've kind of done a case study here for, you know, creating the these folders before. I think we could really benefit from a case study approach to doing this as well. We're kind of just checklisting this. We're kind of just running right through it, and we're really not sitting doing it ourselves. I think we would benefit from doing it that way.
Oh, absolutely. We're just giving you those tools to do with what you'd like, kind of showing you what could happen, completely up to you to take them and run with them. Absolutely.
I like that idea though. And Chris, maybe we could, you guys as a Market Center could come up with some very specific scenarios to practice on, right? With your forms, right? Apologize. We have access to our demo Texas forms. So that's why our forms look different than yours. But I love that idea, Bob, of like, okay, so now that we have these tools, how do we apply them to specific instances we're seeing in our area, in our market right now?
Totally.
Okay, great. Those are all the tips I have. We've gone through a lot today, right? Static data form templates, boo, dual entry. We went over emailing. How can we get it right into the room? Or, you know, how do I change my email address? How do I make this more efficient? Converting, you know, email into a PDF. We went into splitting and combining documents, wanting to make that process more efficient, even reordering those documents there. And then last but not least, what to do when something falls through. And yes, Meg, thank you so much. The last piece here that we would love for you all to participate in is to click on that link in chat and fill out our survey. We love teaching Docusign classes, and we want to learn and grow ourselves. So please let us know maybe some things that we can work on, or maybe some things that we've done really well today. And I appreciate y'all's time. I hope y'all have a great weekend. If you have no questions, feel free to drop. But if you do, we have the next 3 minutes. I can re-demo, and I can we can lift any lid that y'all want to, essentially. So please let us know.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
have one
Yeah, questions,
question.
ahas? Andy?
Is there, so sometimes I need to download or upload a document that needs to be filled in. And the way I've been doing it, I've kind of hacked away at it, and you tell me if this is the only way to do it. But when I upload the document, as soon as I put it in an envelope, I take the, like, it says name, I drag that over. It says address, I'll drag that over, and then sometimes I just drag over
I got lost.
to fill in information. So, and then that's how I send it for people to fill out. Is there another way that Docusign recognizes the spaces to fill out?
Let's save Andy more time. So
Please.
if your document you're using, is it a PDF?
Yeah, it's a PDF,
Okay.
but it's not necessarily one of the documents in Docusign.
It's not a DocuSign form, but it's a PDF. Right. So there is something called, and we can send the video. I actually just made a video. It's about a 6-minute video. You want what's called an e-signature template. That's what you want to make. It's a way to essentially create a flat PDF into a form yourself, so that you can just plug and play when you're doing those envelopes. So we'll include that video in the follow-up email, and then your representative will send it to you. Is it Chris? Because we have 2 different ones. I'm like, which one? I didn't want to like be like, yeah, Chris will send it over. And Chris is like, I've never met her. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
I can send it over.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You have me doing this again. This was awesome. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Really good.
Great. Well, I enjoyed spending Friday morning with y'all. Please let us know if you have any other questions. But ta-ta for now, as they say.
Well, thank you so much. You were amazing.
Thanks so much.
I love your spirit. Your spirit is awesome for this. Like, seriously.
You're so sweet. You're making my day.
Oh gosh, trust me. You made your own day. That's who you are. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate that.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, yes. And if you really feel that way, tell us in that feedback link, right? We do look at those surveys.
I promise to do so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still got to go see Chris in one part, but you know what? It's not about that. It's how well you took your time to give your time to everyone and explain. If I'm lost, it's not because of you. It's because I lost myself a long time. But I got to still let you know how good you are. Every time I go back to your stuff, I can do it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you're so
sweet. Y'all great. No. Thank you. Take care.
We're using those tools. We're learning. We're growing. I love it.
They're awesome. Thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
And thank you to Chris. He reached out. He brought us in and made this partnership happen. So we're so appreciative of you, Market Center leadership. And thank you guys for being in the training room with us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Hope you don't have too much of a red day sunburn or nothing, right? And have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.